transport sector, where MDB has been leading efforts among 8 multilateral development banks in the context of Rio+20. The challenges of sustainability are substantial in the transport sector. While transport is critical for development, rapid motorization is creating more congestion, air pollution, traffic accidents, and greenhouse gas emissions, especially in developing countries. Globally, transport CO2 emissions are projected to increase 50% by 2030 and 80% by 2050, unless dramatic actions are taken. In developing countries, there are 10 to 30 vehicles per 1,000 people today, compared to 600 to 800 in many advanced economies. As incomes rise, motorization in developing countries is going to grow quickly. However, developing countries can leapfrog into a greener future of less motorization, shorter and safer commutes, and more energy-efficient transport systems, thereby improving the health and well-being of the people. Despite its importance, transport has been largely left unprioritized in the policy frameworks that promote sustainable development. There is, for instance, no Millennium Development Goal for transport. Nevertheless, all involved in the business of transport, including governments, the private sector, citizens, and international organizations, need to take action on this issue. Multilateral development banks also have an important role to play in making sustainable transport a reality. Building on our long history of support for transport, we, meaning 8 multilateral development banks, are announcing that over the coming decade, we expect to provide more than $175 billion of loans and grants for transport in developing countries.
You should say the numbers again.
More than US $175 billion of loans and grants for transport in development. We intend to increasingly orient this support toward transport that is accessible, affordable, efficient, financially sustainable, environment friendly, and safe. Our resources will be used to help develop and implement sound policies for sustainable transport, build capacity of institutions, finance build projects, and disseminate best practices in our recipient countries. We call on the international community to set sustainable transport as a key priority under the new post-2015 development framework. Sustainable transport should also be counted in the new Sustainable Development Goals. This will help ensure that governments, civil society, private sector, and other development partners can work together to attain sustainable transport. To be successful in our endeavors, we need strong partners. This is why we are pleased to be joined today by a broad coalition of partners from the Partnership on Sustainable Low-Carbon Transport, who have registered a series of further voluntary commitments on sustainable transport, including for environmentally sustainable transport, mobility, urban transport, green freight, railways, bus rapid transit, green fuel economy, and cycling and road safety. We stand together in calling for change in order to bring about sustainable transport. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Rio+20 is all about implementation. Let us work together to implement our shared vision of sustainable transport as a key component of sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you. very much, Mr. Kuroda. Before opening the floor to questions, I also would like to mention the presence in the room of senior representatives of the other multilateral development banks that are part of this joint statement, and I thank you for being here this morning. For the journalists, please identify yourself and the organization which you represent. And now I'd like to open the floor to questions. And we've just been joined by Mr. Peter Carter of the European Investment Bank.